So first of all, a very, very warm welcome to all of you for the episode of Life Space. It is such a pleasure to have all of you for the second episode. And I would like to start this session by taking blessings of my parents, my guru, my ancestors, my grandparents, and my masters, Dr. Newton and Dr. Lakshmi. Their blessings and grace has been a very, very beautiful gift this life. And I'm so excited to have Dr. Trupti Jayin on this platform today as our guest. And I would like to have a little bit of a formal introduction about Dr. Trupti Jayin. Dr. Trupti Jain, she is an occupational therapist from GS Medical College, Mumbai, and subsequently did her MA and MPhil in clinical psychology from Bombay University. She has been trained by German priest in Gestalt therapy, and she has been doing psychodrama workshops with schools for a long time. She has learned narrative therapy, EMDR, and NLP, neuro-linguistic therapy. She is a Burnian transactional analyst and certified TAP facilitator. She also heads the Zen Den counseling team at the Lokhandwala Foundation School, Mumbai. Her interest in transpersonal psychology led her to learning past life therapy from Dr. Newton Kondawati, Dr. Brian Weiss, and Chris Hansen. She has been practicing hypnotherapy and past life therapy for last 25 years. She has been instrumental in popularizing past life therapy through Raaz Pichale Janam ka. And I would like to share something about that later, which was telecasted on primetime television, which happened in 2009-2010. She has been featured as one of the 11 spiritual masters in a book by Sneha Mehta. For over 2 decades, she has been working at the psychiatric hospital, Cozy Clinic in Mumbai. She has been awarded the Hira Manek Award for the best doctor in 2010. She has been invited to the prestigious TED Talks in 2016 and 2020. The Black Hole, a documentary made by the French Archaeological Institute in Paris, featured her work. She has been teaching past life therapy since a decade at Yoga Niketan Ashram in Rishikesh. Her retreats on inner child healing, advanced therapeutic modalities include life between life, EMDR, and family constellation. She has devised her own healing modality called Ancestral Spirit Release Therapy, which we are going to tap on today, to work with Pitru Dosha. Her book, Beyond to Bliss, a new paradigm of healing, will be published soon. And this is like in a very small nutshell about what she is, but the amount of work that Dr. Trupti is doing is mind-blowing. And rather than going into that, let us straight have her with us in this conversation. So Dr. Trupti, Ma, are you here? I can't just see you.
Yes, I'm right now.
Yes, yeah, but let me just ping you again so that, yeah. Okay. So, a warm welcome to you, Ma. So, friends, I would like to introduce how I met her. So, this was exactly in Raaz Pichale Janam ka, when I was so thrilled, I was so pulled by this show when this was happening on TV, and I never realized, but it was such a small seed that I had in my heart that I want to meet her, and I somehow felt so connected with this entire thing of past life therapy and her. And of course, this was like long back, and I had no idea how that's going to happen. And the life put me on a mode where I came to meditation, and I started seeing my past life, and it started helping me. So I thought, let me just learn it so I can use it for my patients. And that's how I became a therapist. And I learned from Dr. Newton, Dr. Lakshmi. And then when I came back and I started practicing, there was this person whom I saw. I saw I did his session, and there were some issues that I was facing, which I had, I had no where to go, whom to ask. Now I knew by then that, Dr. Trupti is in Mumbai, and through a very close friend who knew her. And in one of the meditation, I was guided to her that you just connect with her and she will guide you. And I took the number from my friend and I just connected. I messaged her and I said, I want to talk to you. And this is how I have found you. And then she responded. And that was the first time that I spoke to her. And then I'm a part of her group, and I'm learning so much from her. So thank you so much, Ma. This is such a beautiful synchronicity that we have today that people can experience. And I welcome you. And yeah, I would like to start with tell us how all this happened to you, how all this journey started for you into this metaphysical science.
Well, when you are young, you don't realize what your journey is going to be. I'm sure everybody agrees to that. Nor did I realize, except that when I was a young child, less than the age of 5, I was deeply interested in, let's say, philosophy because of my father. And I used to listen to, Krishnamurti's tapes because my dad and he were friends. So we used to live in East Africa at that time. So my father would receive these spools. Us zamane mein tapes to hoti nahi thi, used to have these big spools, right? जिसमें कि Krishnamurti ji tape करते थे, and he would send it all the way to East Africa. And sitting on the sands of the beach of Mombasa, I would be listening. I was hardly 4-5 years old, maybe less at that age. So I don't understand the metaphysical world at that age, obviously. But what actually, now that you are asking me the question, जब मैं छोटी थी, I used to have a lot of dreams. And as a young child, I used to see a repetitive dream, which was falling from a height into water and drowning. ये सपना मुझे हफ्ते में 2-3 बार आता था, and I would wake up sweating. I told my parents about it, and they said, "Kuch nahi hai, just go to sleep," and stuff like that. So from a young age, I'm sure many of you will also be having such dreams. I realized that there was another world apart from the reality in which I was living.
Mm-hmm.
So there was this subtle world, which I did not understand as a young child. But I did, maybe my soul understood that there is another world, एक अलग दुनिया भी है, जो सपने में आती है. That world has no connection with this world, but maybe in time to come, that world will come alive. And I think that's really what happened in my life. If you look at the metaphysical space, then I think that was my first introduction to an alternate reality. Because that reality was so real for me that I would wake up sweating. And as I continued my journey, I realized that the dream did not go away. It kept like shadowing me till there came a time when I did a past life session, a group session rather, in which I experienced a memory where this dream was actually a part of that past life memory.
Okay.
And after that, my fear of height and my sickness that I used to have disappeared. So the metaphysical world is right within us. And through our dreams, this metaphysical world begins to surface. So if you are a little aware and little careful about your dreams, you will get a lot of answers in your dreams itself. So that's really my first introduction to metaphysics. And later on in life, when I grew up a little, The person that I got married to later actually appeared in my dreams first. And I could sense that there is some connection with this person. The dream was not clear or, like a story or something. But I kept seeing this face over and over and over again till one day the person appeared right in front of me in this world. So I have these lucid dreaming experiences very often in my life. And even today, I know what's going to happen, or if somebody's going to fall sick, or something is going to happen in the world. I get an inkling about it. Now I'm very kind of familiar with that side. So I am able to understand things very quickly. And the introduction to that world through dreams is a very important aspect, because I know that dream work, people who work with dreams speak about how in dreams the people that you see are a reflection of you. And that's something that I have experienced myself when they come in front of you. And I've had some phenomenal dream experiences. Hopefully in my book you will read about them. But that's my introduction to the other side. And I think everybody should work on their dreams, because it's really a kind of a portal through which a lot of messages can start coming to you. And you can become comfortable with the metaphysical side. Sometimes people are uncomfortable. So when you work with these aspects of yourself, you start becoming comfortable with the other side, and then it becomes really wonderful. So that's really how it all started in my life, really.
Right, and this is such a beautiful aha moment when we start realizing that why it happened. Once we have more of understanding and knowledge. In fact, the first episode of this life space, we had Harita Nayak ji, and this is how our journey started with the dream itself. Correct. And this is such a beautiful revelation that is coming through you, which I'm sure would make more crystallization and integration of what we have already learned as an audience. So we kind of straight go into the past life regression, which is such a specialized subject of yours. So tell us about this past life regression. Now we have a mixed audience, और नहीं सबको इसके बारे में पता है, but किस प्रकार से पता होना चाहिए वो नहीं पता है. So if you can just say a little bit more about this therapy, this work, and what is it all about? It would be really a good start for the show.
So if we believe that we are a soul in the body, अगर हम विश्वास रखते हैं कि हमारी आत्मा शरीर के द्वारा experiences gain करती है, तो you know that you are not the body. So moment you know you are not the body, then who are you? So then if you are the Atman, if you are the soul, then you cannot die, because the soul is ageless, deathless, eternal. So if the soul is ageless, deathless, and eternal, then it only changes bodies. Like it's mentioned in the Gita that you change garments, correct? So once you believe that you live, you die, and you are reborn. अगर आप ये विश्वास रखते हैं, then definitely आपके बहुत सारे पूर्व जीवन हैं. And possibly you can experience your past life memories if they are going to help you. I'm not saying everybody has to do past life therapy. मैं ये कह रही हूँ कि अगर आपके जीवन में कोई चीज repetitive है, जा नहीं रही है, चाहे वो एक medical condition हो, चाहे कोई relationship हो, चाहे कोई habit हो, not going away, then possibly a past life session can help you so that you can reach to the source or the root of your problem. So past life therapy ke dwara you can reach the root of the problem rather than getting upset with the problem, because her problem ka solution hai. maybe past life therapy can help you with that. Urvi, you can mute everybody. That will be good, better.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
I
Past life therapy is only where you can go deep inside your mind, not the facilitator's mind. आपके ही मन के भीतर इसका जवाब है. And we are only facilitating the process. हमें पता है कैसे करना, आपको कहाँ ले जाना, कैसे ले जाना, ये हम जानते हैं. But I can only say that it is through past life therapy that you can understand your soul and its history. Soul की भी अपनी एक history है. Correct? It has traveled through so many civilizations, so many different lifetimes, created so many different relationships, had so many kinds of problems. So the soul has a history. The soul has gone through these various lifetimes. So past life therapy is all about understanding yourself only, but through a different lens. That's all.
Right. So of course that we believe that हम लोग ये believe करते हैं कि हम soul है और हम journey करते हैं एक body से दूसरी body में. और जब उसके थेरेपी की बात आती है, like so can you bring us some example, like कि आपने बोला कि सबको वो करने की जरूरत नहीं होती है, बट हाँ किसी किसी को जरूरत होती है जब वो पैटर्न रिपीटेटिवली दिखी जाती है. सो कैन यू शेयर अबाउट कौन सी चीज, लाइक कौन से इश्यूज में पास्ट लाइफ रिग्रेशन थेरेपी का आपने बहुत ही ब्यूटीफुल रिजल्ट्स देखे हैं, जो आप जो जिसने हेल्प किया है. So which people should really know that ये है हमारे पास एक टूल जो हम यूज कर सकते हैं.
So let us say if you have skin problems, you have repeated maybe muscle pain, idiopathic aches and pain जिसका कोई medical reason नहीं है, or you have a head pain, headache, migraine, ये जो चीजें होती है, let's say psoriasis, fibromyalgia, ये condition बहुत ही resistive है, it does not go away. आप कितनी भी treatment करो, it is not going to go away. A condition like let's say restless leg syndrome, जो एक ऐसी condition है which people suffer from and it does not go away. अगर आपके जीवन में रिश्ते बहुत ज्यादा बिटर है, आपके फादर के साथ, मदर के साथ, हस्बैंड के साथ, इन लॉज के साथ, तो आप सोचते रहेंगे ना कि क्यों मेरी लाइफ में ये हर रिश्ता मेरी लाइफ में ठीक नहीं है. तो जब ऐसी लोग बातें करते हैं कि कोई चीज ऐसी है जो जा नहीं रही है, माँ रिपीटेडली इट इज कमिंग इन माई लाइफ, देन अ पास्ट लाइफ सेशन इज रिकमेंडेड. जब कोई मुझे फोन करके ये कहता है कि मेरी लाइफ में सब कुछ ठीक है बट आई वांट टू डू अ पास्ट लाइफ सेशन, देन आई से यू डोंट नीड वन. Because your life is going fine. You don't need to do a past life session. But when there is somebody who calls me and says that, man, I have tried everything. Medically, मैंने सब कुछ try किया है, homeopathy, allopathy, ये वो, but कुछ नहीं हुआ है. I am still where I was. Then possibly that karmic impasse needs to break. To break that karmic impasse, past life therapy is a must then. So multiple लोग हमारे पास आते हैं, like you have lost a child, you have lost a spouse, and you are angry with God कि भैया ऐसा क्यों हुआ मेरे साथ, right? And no one can give you answers to this, right? You can go to a palmist, you can go to an astrologer, they'll tell you कि यहाँ ऐसा हो रहा था, वैसा हो रहा था, इसलिए maybe they passed away, but that does not help you to move in your life. So something like this, which is an impasse, it is something that is not breaking, then definitely a past life session is recommended. So if there is something that, and trust me, people who come to see us, you are also a past life therapist, and many past life therapists are here, when they come to see us, they will themselves tell you कि हमने बहुत कुछ try किया पर कुछ नहीं हुआ है मैम. We need to know the answer. So these are the people who need a past life session actually.
Right. So it's like there are some energy which has to go through a particular tool at this particular phase, और वो टाइम पे वो उसको हेल्प करता है. और मैंने ये भी देखा है बीइंग अ होम्योपैथ, जब मैं देखती हूँ कि कहाँ पे इसका इंटीग्रेशन कहाँ पे होना है और कैसे कर सकते हैं, तो देयर आर मेनी पीपल जो जिस होम्योपैथी में सबकॉन्शियस और अनकॉन्शियस को एक्सप्लोर करना बहुत जरूरी हो जाता है इफ वी वांट टू रियली गो टू द रूट ऑफ द प्रॉब्लम, जैसे हम पास्ट लाइफ में भी जाते हैं. और कोई कोई बंदा होता है या बंदी होती है जहाँ नहीं जा सकता है, उनके केसेस में पास्ट लाइफ रिग्रेशन बहुत बहुत ही हेल्प करती है, बिकॉज इट रियली काइंड ऑफ हेल्प्स अस टू डायरेक्टली एंटर इनटू द सबकॉन्शियस और अनकॉन्शियस ऑफ दैट पर्सन, जो अदरवाइज कॉन्शियस टॉक में नहीं आ पाता है उनके साथ. सो सो दैट इज ऑल्सो दैट्स अ वेरी गुड इंसाइट. यस. और जब हम इलनेसेस की बातें करते हैं, सो दिस इज समथिंग वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग दैट यू सेड, दैट स्किन प्रॉब्लम्स, लाइक हमें पता है कि हेडेक्स वगैरह है या फोबियाज, इवन फोबियाज, राइट? इट्स पास्ट लाइफ रिग्रेशन रियली हेल्प्स टू टैप ऑन द रूट कॉज बिहाइंड व्हाई द पर्सन इज हैविंग. तो जब स्किन प्रॉब्लम्स की बात आती है, तो जब स्किन प्रॉब्लम्स की बात आती है माँ, सो आपका थोड़ा क्लिनिकल एक्सपीरियंस हमें बता पाएंगे, बिकॉज वी हैव अ बंच ऑफ होम्योपैथिक डॉक्टर्स ओवर हियर एंड इट्स गोइंग टू बी वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग टू नो कि कैसे, मतलब कितने टाइम में होता है, और पास्ट लाइफ रिग्रेशन के बाद क्या मतलब रिजल्ट होता ही है, मिल ही जाता है, कि देन दे हैव टू डू सम वर्क.
इट्स लाइक अगर मैंने उस पेड़ को जड़ से निकाल दिया तो फिर मुझे और क्या काम करना है ना. जड़ ही जब नहीं है तो there is no work to be done, right? You just have to wait for some time so that the ground again becomes even and you can plant a new tree. करेक्ट है ना. तो पास्ट लाइफ सेशन के बाद आपको कुछ जपा या आपको कुछ एफर्मेशन या आपको कुछ इस तरह की कोई चीज करने की जरूरत नहीं है, बिकॉज इफ द सेशन इज डन वेल द प्रॉब्लम इज रिमूव फ्रॉम द सोर्स इटसेल्फ. देन आई जस्ट टेल पीपल हैव सम फेथ, ट्रस्ट एंड वेट. थोड़ा वेट करिए. मैं अपने काम में हमेशा ये कहती हूँ कि सेशन के बाद 1.5-2 महीना आपको वेट करना है, because it takes that much time for the mind to again start functioning from zero. जैसे पहले आपने सोचा कि oh God, I'm just thinking of my migraine, correct? अब suddenly आपने सेशन किया तो उसके बाद आपकी थॉट प्रोसेस तो चेंज होने को टाइम लगेगा ना. Every day you're used to popping a pill, now you're not going to do that. So वो ट्रस्ट फॉर्म करने के लिए कि oh God, this problem has actually gone away, it will take some time. So that is why I say 1.5-2 महीना रुकिए. slowly the mind, see एक चीज हमें याद रखनी है सबको कि the mind is a non-physical thing, correct? mind physical तो है नहीं, mind एक non-physical चीज है, और जो non-physical है it means it is like air, correct? So the mind will take some time to rearrange itself. पहले उसकी arrangement was in a certain manner. Now the arrangement is changed because the impasse has been removed, the obstacle has been removed. So it will take some time for the change. So have trust and faith, that's all. और आपको trust and faith therapist में नहीं रखना है, आपको trust and faith खुद में रखना है. That you are the creator of your reality. ये आप faith अपने में रखिए. And if you're able to do that, change will automatically become visible. मैं आपको एक एग्जाम्पल देती हूँ of a young boy from नागपुर जो मेरे पास आया था. एक वर्कशॉप थी जिसमें लड़का आया था, एंड सैटरडे संडे की मेरी 2 दिन की जो ऑफलाइन वर्कशॉप होती है, तो सैटरडे रात को मतलब शाम को 4 बजे इज व्हेन वी डू द हेल्थ kind of regression, a past life session. So this boy was there, he was in the session got over and he left. Next morning on Sunday, he comes early in the morning by 8:30, very excited. And I said, so, मुझे याद नहीं उसका नाम, but he said that, ma'am, I want to share with everybody what I experienced, because Saturday evening उसने share नहीं किया था, और उसने ये भी कहा था ग्रुप को कि मुझे ऐसी कोई प्रॉब्लम है नहीं, मैं हेल्थ में कोई ऐसा कोई इश्यू मुझे नहीं है, कुछ प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, बट ठीक है, आई लाई डाउन एंड डू द सेशन। तो संडे मॉर्निंग जब वो आया 8:30 बजे, तो उसने ग्रुप के साथ शेयर किया कि मैं सबको ये बताना चाहता हूँ कि मुझे कोई हेल्थ इश्यू नहीं है, बट आई हैव अ हैबिट। और मेरी हैबिट ये है कि मैं रात को सोने से पहले अपने पैर गीले करके ही सोता हूँ। अगर मैंने पैर गीले नहीं किए तो मुझे नींद नहीं आई, और इस वजह से मेरी वाइफ बहुत परेशान है, बिकॉज बेड गीला हो जाता है। माई फीट हैव टू बी वेट, मतलब मैं उसको पोंछ के नहीं सोऊंगा। बट yesterday night, he said, Saturday night, for the first time in my life, मैंने अपने पैर गीले नहीं किए और मैं सो गया। और ये यूनिक चीज मेरे लिए है। And then he shared that in a past life he saw he was a young girl, 4 or 5 years old, in China, working in the rice fields, जिसमें कि आप पानी में अपने पैर रख के ऑब्वियसली काम करते हैं। And a snake came and bit this girl and she died. So the trauma that the soul was carrying was the snake bite, but that body was in water. पानी में थी वो छोटी लड़की. So that is why possibly he's carried this, need to become like make his feet wet and sleep. After 6 months, his wife called me. आपने कहा ना कि कब, तो उसको तो ट्रस्ट आ गया कि अरे सैटरडे नाइट तो मैंने अपने पैर गीले किए नहीं, बट लेट मी सी अगर ये मतलब विल दिस कंटिन्यू, है ना, पीपल हैव डाउट्स। तो 6 महीने बाद उसकी वाइफ ने मुझे फोन किया और कहा कि मैम आई हैव टू टेल यू दैट थैंक यू सो मच, 6 महीने हो गए हैं, माय हस्बैंड हैज स्टॉप्ड वेटिंग हिज फीट। सो एक छोटी सी चीज विच इज नॉट, मैं ये नहीं सोचूंगी कि ये कोई पास्ट लाइफ चीज, बट हाँ देयर इज अ हैबिट, एक हैबिट है जो जा नहीं रही है, लाइक स्मोकिंग, है ना। तो इस तरह की ऑड हैबिट्स भी लोगों की पास्ट लाइफ थेरेपी से जाती है, बिकॉज द जड़ से आपने निकाल दी ना, वो प्रॉब्लम तो निकल गई। नाउ वेट, हैव फेथ दैट यू विल गेट बेटर एंड यू विल गेट बेटर।
Right.
That's what happened.
Thank you. Thank you. And when it comes to bodily ailments, like this is skin problems, specifically, I'm coming to the skin problems. And I'm really curious to understand, can you just share some of the clinical experiences from your practice where skin issues take away? Matlab, it is like a visible thing, which is kind of gone with the past life regression session.
So offhand मैं इतना नहीं कह पाऊंगी, but I have had people who had eczema, let us say. Eczema एक difficult condition है, right? So I had a client with this problem, and काफी उसके eczema तो webs में होता है, generally finger dry होता है, कई बार अगर आप scratch करते तो bleed भी हो जाता है। So she actually saw, it was quite difficult, that skin condition. And then she had a session with me. मुझे याद है कि she saw herself in summer in a place which was very hot. And she was like a laborer. और वो सुबह से शाम, शाम से सुबह वो काम करती रहती थी. She was a man in that lifetime. और जैसे weights उठाना, goods उठाना. So this is the reason that possibly her skin kind of also became dark in the current lifetime. So हालांकि she was fair as a baby, but slowly her skin because of eczema dark hota gaya. And this is the session that she had, and she realized this was the problem. And post that, she got better. I can't say she got 100% better, but definitely 60% she got better. She didn't have to put those ointments. और वो जो dryness जो होती थी उसकी skin पे, that definitely completely went away. Actually, she could, she could feel that her skin was getting a little softer and stuff like that. So, Urvi, skin related problems की past lives बहुत अलग-अलग होती है. ये नहीं कि everybody who has eczema will see themselves in a hot place like a desert or doing manual work. It can be anything. There was another girl recently, last year मैंने उसका session किया था in Jaipur. She has got skin condition है, उसको कहने psoriasis, बहुत ही बुरी skin condition है उसको, and it all started when she was 24 days old. मतलब बेबी थी, इन्फेंट थी वो, 24 days old में इसकी कंडीशन स्टार्ट हुई थी. And we realized that the condition started when she was in the womb of her mother only, because the mother was going through a stressful divorce. And then 24 days में she had the first bout. छोटी बेबी है तो आप थोड़ा ना ऑइंटमेंट लगाओ, ये लगाओ, जो भी है. But then when I took the case history, see, कोई भी condition में ना, और especially skin related conditions में, case history बहुत important है, because you will see a pattern as to what is actually precipitating the problem. And with this girl, which is only 20 years old, this girl, I realized that whenever there was stress, where she had to perform, like she had to be good, look good, please others, it would flare up. Psoriasis would flare up. So when I explained to her how it is happening, she said, yes, she also could see
Makes
then.
sense,
Ki,
right.
oh, this is the reason why psoriasis is coming, like a pattern she could see, you know, and the kind of triggering factor she could see also. And many things like, it's not only skin, it's about the person's personality, likes and dislikes, habits, so many things, and behavioral concerns. All this starts to be seen when you take the cases. And post the session that we did, which was where she experienced actually abandonment. She was abandoned by her parents. And post that, this child experienced a lot of grief and sadness, and she died also very young and stuff like that. She was raped in that lifetime. So a lot of trauma she was carrying. तो आप देख सकते कि in eczema trauma उतना नहीं है, पर यहाँ पे trauma is very high.
Right.
Okay. Post the session, this young girl had, I think, 3 major changes. One, she became less conscious. Us time pe, she was still doing her college over Zoom, virtual classes chal rahe the uske. She said, I'm starting to talk in the group. मतलब मैं अपना video on करती हूँ, and I'm okay with people seeing me. ये पहला change था उसकी life का, which she has, that has kind of persisted. Second, in that lifetime, she saw that she was starving because she was abandoned by her parents in a barn, and food was not there, and the little girl had to, you know, try and eat little food and all that. That starvation jo carry kar rahi thi, because of which in her current lifetime, she was putting on weight and eating all kinds of things. That stopped. She started now eating healthy food, good food, and she lost some weight also. That was the second change that came. So what happened was her body had started healing from within. मैं ये नहीं कहूँ कि उसके patterns चले गए, but the kind of the beginning of change had already started happening, that the body was reacting differently. And third, she started talking to her mother about the fact that she had a lot of kind of suicidal thoughts, which she had not shared with her mother. So she started opening up, talking, smiling, laughing. ये जो changes आने लगे, slowly we realized that the little bit of जो यहाँ पे जो था उसका patchy, वो कम होने लगा. The problem is that since 24 days till age of 20, the psoriasis had flared up so many times that उसकी skin patchy हो गई थी, काली काली हो गई थी. So that will take a lot of time to go. But at least new patches will not come. So आपको change ऐसे देखना है as a therapist. You know, you can't say that, oh, now the psoriasis is gone. It's not like that, right? Personality change होती है, behavioral changes होते हैं, food में change आता है, the way the person expresses में change आएगा, social consciousness कम हो जाती है, धीरे धीरे धीरे. इसलिए मैं कहती हूँ, it takes 2 months, 3 months, sometimes 6 months. But you have to have patience for change to come.
That's really interesting. In fact, I have a patient treating extensive psoriasis, and we happened to kind of, you know, enter her past life for some reason, and she also had a similar thing, trauma, where, she had been, it was not an abandonment, but she got separated from the family as a child. And there was a lot of starvation that happened, and she was being raped, and then she was killed. And
Correct.
yeah, so हम जब GNM भी study करते तो हमें it is say, they say that when there is a safety trauma, when the safeness or the protection is being damaged, then the
Correct.
skin issue happens, right?
Correct.
So
Absolutely right.
so that's a wonderful insight. And yeah, this is exactly even how we see when we kind of start seeing patients in healing, that energy में क्या difference है, emotions में क्या difference है, and धीरे धीरे it comes on the surface and the body. So thank you for that insight. And we have some questions, and let us start, taking those questions.
Sure.
So first question is from Dr. Vishmay. She's asking that I understand the issue is removed with all the roots. So once it is removed, are there any chances of growing wild new plants, weeds, new issues?
Okay. So the patient comes with one issue, that issue is removed, and then she will come with another issue. Yeah, but not with the same issue, is what I just want to say. Patient may come with some other issue, like मेरे पास generally I don't have patients who need repeat sessions. क्योंकि जब आप case history लेते, see, as a doctor, case history is so important, right? So जब आप case history लेते हैं, let me share one client that has just recently come. अगर आप लोग मेरे Facebook पे, तो आपने शायद वो case भी read किया होगा. So there was this lady who came from Australia, and her question was only one, that her daughter, they are Hindus basically, right? But her daughter has got herself baptized to becoming a Christian.
Yeah.
And she has changed her faith, and she had not told her parents that she's going to get baptized. Now, this woman, this wife and husband, वो दोनों are extremely upset कि मेरी बेटी ऐसे कैसे कर सकती है, हम हिंदू हैं, हमने उसको ऐसे संस्कार नहीं दिए, etc., etc. They kept talking. ठीक है? So now I spoke more to her, about her equation with her husband and everything. So I realized 2-3 things. One, when she married her husband, she's 9 years older than her husband. She's already 60. She's already 69, and her husband is 61. Okay. So she's having some issues with her husband. Second, the daughter was staying with them, but a couple of years back, 2-3 years back, she moved out and she wanted to live on her own independently. She has no boyfriend or partner or anything. And then she's grown up in Australia. She's born there. She's grown up there. And she got enamored by the Christian faith, and she decided to baptize herself. Third, she was working with her parents, but she decided to work for another company which is similar to her parents' company. And now she has moved out and working with another company. So parents in 3 चीजों से खफा है बच्चे से, ठीक है ना? So now, do I need to do separate sessions for that? No, I need to do just one session for her to get insight into a relationship with her daughter and her husband, bas, and faith. Why are they so upset with this girl changing her faith? So in her past life session, this lady saw that she was a 7-year-old girl. The husband of her current lifetime was her then father. And the daughter of her current lifetime was her then mother. That means there is a soul contract between the 3 of them. They all 3 have come here again today, correct? Second, in this lifetime, inka business hai, it's related to wood. Lakde se related business, like furniture making, landscape designing, all this. Okay? In the previous lifetime, the father, who's her current life husband, was actually a person working with wood. Who basically suthar the. Used to make chairs and tables and stuff like that. Okay. He's a carpenter. So now the profession, she understood, वहां पे ये था, यहाँ पे भी सिमिलर प्रोफेशन है. थर्ड, all of them, there was a scene which she saw जहाँ पे उसके हस्बैंड से उसके फादर ने एक वुडन क्रॉस बनाया था, and the cross was hanging on a tree, and the three of them were sitting there and praying to Jesus. She realized that in her previous lifetime they were following Christian faith. That moment when she saw that, something snapped. It just changed.
Yeah.
It was as if like she could transcend that block, that karmic block. Just transcended it completely. And then when the lifetime went on and whatever, I don't want to continue that, but this was what she saw. Post the session, I mean, even prior to the session, she kept telling me that Jesus is with me. She could feel the presence of Jesus with her through that memory. As she grew up, then she didn't get married. So she realized that in her current lifetime, if her daughter is saying that she does not want to marry, it's okay because she also didn't marry in that lifetime. So many areas where she was not okay, Urvi, she became okay. And that's the transformation. When you move from not being okay with something to being okay with something, the same thing, you will transform your life. She came back from the session, rather, she got out of the session and she sat there and she was crying when she entered the session, but when she came out, she was smiling and she said, Trupti ji, अब मैं ऑस्ट्रेलिया जाऊंगी और मैं और मेरे हस्बैंड संडे को चर्च जाएंगे. Because my daughter sings in the choir Sundays. It was a 3-hour
transformation, right?
3 घंटे का session था, but her mind transformed, transcended that block. So what I'm saying is, जब आप properly case history लेते हैं, आप हर चीज को integrate करके अगर आप induction statement plan करें, तो आपको ज्यादा सेशन की जरूरत नहीं होती, आपको एक ही सेशन करना पड़ता है. आई टेल ऑल माय क्लाइंट्स हु कॉल मी, आई विल डू अ सिंगल सेशन विद यू ओनली. बिकॉज ऐसे बहुत सारे लोग हमें कॉल करते, मैम हम यहाँ गए थे, वहां गए थे, मैम यहाँ 5 सेशन 6 सेशन 8 सेशन हो गए, अभी भी कुछ नहीं हुआ मैम. Why? Because they don't take the case history correctly. They don't integrate as a therapist. आपका काम है ना भाई, आपको कुछ तो काम करना पड़ेगा ना. You can't be sitting with your manual like reading the statements, right? So how do you understand this human being that has come to you with her problem? How do you integrate it and then do the session?
Right.
Because ये insights बहुत जरूरी थे. You know, how जो वाइफ को आंसर मिला है, that's enough for me. So all this is very important for a past life therapist and for the therapy to go well.
Right. So
you want to ask another question?
Yeah, so Vismay, I am sure that आपको आपके question का answer मिल गया होगा. So yes, the issue which with person comes, that is sorted, and of course अगर और कोई नए issue है तो then there is something else that needs to be done. So that is, you can drop more question if you have anything which is not answered. Second question now, second is a sharing from Shraddha ji. She is saying that my husband's skin allergy issue is better by 80% after a PLR. Thank you, Shraddha ji, for sharing that. We have one more question, ma, from Sapna Dabi. She's asking vitiligo. One of my friend is having this problem since last 6 months. Ma, any view on this vitiligo?
So vitiligo, मेरे clients है who have this problem of vitiligo. So beta vitiligo में ये कि the skin color will not come back. That's not possible. जो damage हो गया है, like a deformity cannot be changed. अगर मेरी उंगली ऐसे हो गई है तो past life therapy के बाद मेरी उंगली सीधी नहीं हो सकती. That's not possible, है ना. इसी तरह से vitiligo के जो white patches है वो वापस brown नहीं हो सकते या fair नहीं हो सकते. But it can be arrested. माने जो speed
Progress
से
नहीं होगा, right?
हाँ, it will not progress. ये हमें कोशिश करनी चाहिए करने के लिए.
In fact, to this, Sapna Bhabhi, I would add that in homeopathy, when we go deeper and when we understand, we do have patients where the vitiligo is kind of shifted and the skin recoloration has happened.
Very good.
Yeah. So in fact, what happens is that it's not just the vitiligo problem, as Mai is rightly saying. It is so many things around that, how I'm viewing it, how it is affecting me as a person, my emotions, my way of living, how is it paralyzing me. ये बहुत सारी चीजों में shifts आते हैं, बहुत सारी चीजों में shifts आते हैं, और yes, we can definitely integrate other things which is available, and you know how we can help. So thank you for that question. Next question is from Sejal. She's asking, can you incorporate other aspects to bring more healing, like support with herbs and diets and lifestyle changes?
Why not? आप बहुत सारी चीजें कर सकते हैं. Beliefs आपकी change हो सकती है. आप अपनी lifestyle change कर सकते हैं. Like for a smoker, है ना? You do a past life session. आप एक दो अगर आप session करते हैं over a period of 2-3 months, तो आप उनको कहेंगे ना अपनी lifestyle change करिए. Correct? तो diet है, lifestyle changes है, physical exercises है, kind meditations है, yoga है. You have to incorporate because there has to be a shift. And after past life sessions, people are more open to making these shifts. That is also very important to understand. Because now they understand that the physical body is a manifestation of my thought. मेरे विचार से मेरा शरीर बना है. Right? I wanted to become a woman. I took a body of a woman. So the idea creation created this body. So now they start understanding, oh, if I change my idea, my physical body will change, my physical health will change. So you have to make some changes. People make changes on their own. But if they do good, if they don't, see, as a facilitator, हमें याद रखना है कि we don't want to live their life. See, there are many people who tell me कि मैम आप इतने sessions करते तो आपको असर नहीं होता, because you are seeing so many patients who are crying and they're weeping and they're troubled and all that. तो आपके ऊपर असर नहीं होता. कैसे हो सकता है? Because I know I am not that person. So as a therapist, भी आपको अपनी coaching करनी चाहिए. You must coach yourself that you are not that patient. Patient की life आपकी life नहीं है, उसकी life है. So moment the patient walks out of your clinic room, she's out. Correct? But there are many doctors and many therapists who carry the patient home with them. Oh, poor thing, she was crying, her husband is like this, ye, wo. Then they come back home, then they discuss with their husband, bhai, tum bhi aisa mat karna mere saath, etc., etc. So what happens is that because you carry suffering home, you will suffer. So ye aapke training mein hona chahiye. In our work, we have what we call transference and counter-transference. Patients transfer kar sakte aapke ऊपर. You are just like my mother. You are so kind. My grandmother was like this. You remind me of my grandmother. That's called transference. But aapko counter-transference nahi karna ki yes, my dear, you also just like my sister. No. Hai na? So as a therapist, you have to. That is why training is important. आपकी खुद की training और फिर experience से जो आप सीखते हैं, because experience is the best teacher, right? So slowly, it's like, when the work is you, then everything you learn through your work. So that's important. Therapist, अच्छा therapist बनने के लिए आपको काफी तपस्या करनी पड़ती है. It's not that easy.
वो तपस्या के लिए बाल सफेद करने पड़ते हैं.
हाँ, बाल सफेद करने पड़ेंगे हमें. So, so stop. What should I say? Dyeing your hair. Maybe you will get some wisdom.
Yeah. Or wisdom will be visible.
Wisdom will be visible.
So in short, that we have to learn to maintain our boundaries. We cannot just get carried away as a therapist.
Absolutely,
That's a
yes.
beautiful point.
बहुत important.
इनफैक्ट जब हम इसकी बात कर रहे थे लाइफ स्टाइल चेंजेस की, जैसे पास्ट लाइफ रिग्रेशन थेरेपी, या तो हमारे सेशन के बाद वो ओपननेस आती है, ये भी हमने देखा है ना माँ की, वंस दे स्टार्ट एक्सपीरियंशियली अंडरस्टैंडिंग, और उसने जब एक्सपीरियंस कर लिया कि मैं कैसे किस प्रकार से मैं जर्नी करता आ रहा हूँ, एंड सेकंड वो जर्नी का मतलब क्यों है, व्हाई एम आई जर्निंग, देयर इज अ लेसन दैट नीड्स टू बी लर्नड, और वो लेसन लर्न करने के लिए ये बॉडी इज अ टेम्पल, यू रिक्वायर दिस बॉडी टू बी हेल्दी to do your work in this time that you've come, and then you start respecting the healthier way of living. So this shift we do see in the person, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you for that. The next question is that, is it true that one can regain talents which they have acquired in their past lives through PLR? मतलब पहले के जमाने, हमारे पहले की लाइफ की टैलेंट्स वापस या?
Yes, definitely. When you see a lifetime, I'm not saying everybody will be able to do it. Okay, see, you have to be at that soul shift state. Your talent retrieve करने के लिए भी आपको उस समय के पास आना पड़ेगा जबकि वो talent retrieve हो सकती है. You have to be at that point of shift in your own current lifetime. It's not कि जैसे अगर मुझे किसी ने when I was 20 or 25 or 30 जब मैंने पास्ट लाइफ थेरेपी करना स्टार्ट किया, हिप्नोसिस स्टार्ट किया, अगर मुझे कोई कहता कि आप एक दिन टीवी पे आएंगे, I would have not believed it, right? Because the time was not right. जैसे जब हम बीज मिट्टी में डालते हैं तो एक वक्त होता है जब वो बीज comes out, ना, sprout होता है. इसी तरह से in your current lifetime, if you're doing a session close in time to that sprouting, then you may be able to retrieve. Everybody cannot retrieve. ये मैं नहीं कहूंगी कि सब लोग past life session में जाके they can get back their skill and talent. It's not like that. You have to be at that shift point. एक shifting का एक point होता है जिंदगी में. Generally it happens between 40 to 45. ये एज है जो मैंने देखा है इतने सालों में कि ये उम्र के आसपास many people will tell me कि 40 से पहले मेरा जीवन कुछ और था, 40 के बाद मेरा जीवन कुछ और है. That point, अगर तब आप past life session करते, you'll be able to retrieve that. So there is एक वक्त होता है जब ये चीज आपके पास आती है. वक्त से पहले और वक्त से ज्यादा किसी को कुछ मिलता नहीं ना, वैसे है. So there is a moment when that comes back.
And for this is how much is अपनी साधना का कितना इम्पोर्टेंस होता है ये रिट्रीव में या वो शिफ्ट होने में? इस साधना ऑल्सो इम्पोर्टेंट?
वेरी 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 इंपॉर्टेंट. आपका इस जीवन का जो कार्मिक लेसन है वो आप सीख लो पहले. I'll give you an example. We have a patient now. He's a very famous artist. वो मेरे पास आए थे, बहुत साल पहले की बात है. But he had come. उन्होंने अपनी कहानी मुझे बताई कि 42 या 43 years तक he did 20 jobs. 20 अलग अलग जॉब्स किए. वो दुबई भी गए, मिडिल ईस्ट भी गए, इधर उधर पता नहीं क्या क्या जॉब्स किए to support his old mother, his brother and his sister. His sister was divorced, came back, etc. etc. ठीक है. 43 की उम्र में he used to have a talent, painting. हाँ, टैलेंट थी उनके पास पेंटिंग की, पर उन्होंने कुछ ज्यादा किया नहीं. उन्होंने वो पेंट करके ना कैनवसेस फ्रेंड्स को देते थे बर्थडेज पे, ये वो एंड ऑल दैट. तो ही वाज नॉट एन आर्टिस्ट, ओके, लाइक अ प्रोफेशनल आर्टिस्ट नहीं थे. ही हैड अ स्किल, टैलेंट, बट रिट्रीव नहीं किया था उसने उस टैलेंट को कंप्लीटली. ओके, सो एट 43 art dealer saw his painting in this man's friend's house. आदमी का एक दोस्त था, उसके घर पे आर्ट डीलर गया होगा, तो उसने ये पेंटिंग देखी. उसने कहा कि वाह व्हाट एन आर्टिस्ट. तो वो फ्रेंड ने कहा कि आर्टिस्ट वार्टिस्ट कुछ नहीं, तो मेरा दोस्त है, क्या ऐसी पेंटिंग वेंटिंग करता है. तो आर्ट डीलर ने कहा कि नहीं वो तो बहुत अच्छी पेंटिंग है, आस्क हिम टू कम एंड सी मी. पर दोस्त कैसे होते हैं ना, भूल भूल जाते हैं. तो दोस्त ने कुछ मैसेज दिया नहीं. करेक्ट. 2-3 वीक्स के बाद वो आर्ट डीलर का फोन आया कि भाई फ्रेंड को बोला कि नहीं मुझे आके मिलने के लिए. तो फ्रेंड ने कहा यू आर सीरियस? ही सेड आई एम वेरी सीरियस. इज अ वेरी, इसके अंदर एक आर्टिस्ट है. तो ये पेशेंट जो है मेरा, ही वेंट टू मीट द आर्ट डीलर आर्ट डीलर ने उसको कहा तुम क्या क्या करते हो, बोले मैं तो आई एम वर्किंग विद दिस कंपनी एंड ऑल दैट। इसे तुम काम वाम छोड़ो और तुम घर पे बैठो और 25 कैनवसेस तैयार करो, मैं नेक्स्ट ईयर दिसंबर में तुम्हें इंडिविजुअल आर्ट शो दे दूंगा। अब नाउ द शिफ्ट कम्स, ही गोज बैक होम, हिज मदर, इज ओल्ड मदर, जो इंसिस्ट करती थी कि तुम्हें जॉब करना है बेटा, जॉब तू नहीं करेगा तो हम लोग कैसे गुजारा करेंगे, ठीक है। he sits with the mother, he tells the mother ऐसा ऐसा हुआ, तो मदर पहली बार 43 इयर्स में बच्चे को ये, बेटे को ये कहती कि बेटा तूने बहुत कर लिया, तू नौकरी छोड़ और तू अपने मन की कर। And honestly, he gave up his job, sat at home, painted 25 canvases, and got an individual art show in December by the art dealer. So talent है, हम सबके पास कुछ ना कुछ टैलेंट है, ठीक है, बस वो टैलेंट का एक समय होता है जब वो टैलेंट निखर के बाहर आएगी। Either you do a past life session and pull it out, or the universe will send somebody like this art dealer to pull out that talent. But there is a time for everything. ऐसा नहीं कि any time this will happen, ऐसे नहीं होता है। I got the show when I turned 48. मेरे सालों की तपस्या के बाद मुझे 48 में this show was offered to me. That also I don't know how. करेक्ट, मैंने कुछ प्लान नहीं किया था, सोचा नहीं था इन सब चीजों के बारे में, ना कभी अपने आप को देखा था इस तरह से, बट इट हैपेंड थ्रू अ स्कूल फ्रेंड ऑफ माइन, जिसको मैं 30 साल तक, मे बी मोर देन 30 years मिली भी नहीं थी, एंड शी जस्ट अराइव्ड suddenly in my life. And post the show, it's been now nearly 14 years, I have not met her again. So आप देख सकते हैं कि जीवन में जब निमित्त होता है ना, तभी वो चीज होती है। It is not like it can happen. It's not like that. It is planned. There's a blueprint and there is this right turn that I'm supposed to take, which I'm not aware of. तो बहुत सी सारी चीजें हम खुद सोचते हम करते हैं, पर हम करते कुछ नहीं है actually. Everything is designed for you.
Yeah, and I guess or probably life देखती है कि you are ready for it, you will be able to digest it and integrate it well if it comes to you, and then it
वक्त होता है, कभी भी आ सकता है,
right? So there is this question that I had, and probably after that we will jump to the ancestral healing thing, the Pitru Dosha. So जब हम पास्ट लाइफ रिग्रेशन की बात करते हैं, सो वी अंडरस्टैंड कि एवरीथिंग इज अ कॉज एंड इफेक्ट। हमने पहले कुछ किया, इसकी वजह से इस जन्म में हमारे साथ ये सब हो रहा है, राइट? वी आर रिपिंग द फ्रूट। तो जब हम ये थियोरी में, ये कॉन्सेप्ट में फेथ है, हम बिलीव करते हैं, तो जब हम एक सेशन करते हैं, सो माय क्वेश्चन इज कि ये जो क्वेश्चन आता है हमारे पास कि तो हम कितने हद तक ये सही है ये करना, क्योंकि उन्होंने कुछ किया, उसका अभी ये फ्रूट ये जन्म में वो ले रहा है। सो बाय डूइंग पास्ट लाइफ रिग्रेशन थेरेपी, आर वी इंटरप्टिंग द फ्लो ऑफ that cycle that person is supposed to go through?
See, it's like this. Two things we have to understand. One, we all believe that nothing is permanent. You agree? So nothing is permanent. Now, change in this earth plane is constant. Everything is changing constantly. ये दो चीजें सच है. Nothing is permanent and there is change which is constant. Correct? आज lunar eclipse है. Correct? So at a particular time the eclipse started and there will be a time when the eclipse will end. Correct? तो इसी तरह से, क्योंकि सेलेस्टियल वर्ल्ड में भी स्टार्टिंग और एंडिंग टाइम है, इसी तरह से इस पृथ्वी लोक में भी स्टार्टिंग और एंडिंग टाइम है. सो इफ देयर इज, लेट अस से, डोमेस्टिक वायलेंस इन अ कपल, एंड यू विल से के पास्ट लाइफ थेरेपी से हम कहीं कार्मिक इंटरफियरेंस तो नहीं कर रहे, मे बी द lady has to suffer or the spouse has to suffer, जो भी है, ठीक है ना? Now that person has a starting and ending time for suffering. Suffering cannot be all your life. It's not possible. हम क्या कर रहे हैं? हम तो सिर्फ फैसिलिटेट कर रहे हैं. हमने उनको बुलाया, आइए भाई हम आपकी हेल्प करते हैं. नहीं. The person calls, the person comes willingly, voluntarily, wants to help herself. It is like a person going to a temple and praying to God and saying, God, please help me. And God says, okay. And then you say, I went to Sai Baba temple and Sai Baba helped me. And my faith grows. With Sai Baba, if I have a problem, I go to Sai Baba and Sai Baba helps me, correct? Is Sai Baba trying to interfere in her karmic problems or her karmic journey? No. Sai Baba did nothing. He was still there, correct? That person went, prayed, and left. Similarly, when somebody comes to you for therapy, the person is coming voluntarily, wants to solve the problem, has something in her mind already. ये नहीं है कि PLR की वजह से she has solved her problem. No, she was already on the journey to solve her problem. हमने सिर्फ उसको धक्का मारा.
Right.
हमने धक्का मारा, उसने देखा, and she solved her problem.
Right.
So we are only facilitating. We are like this temple जहाँ पे वो आई है, and she's telling us, please help me. And I have said some words. वहाँ पे ईश्वर बोलता नहीं है. Baba doesn't speak loudly, speaks in her mind, right? यहाँ पे हम जोर से बोल रहे हैं उसको. And the person. So ऐसा नहीं कि we are interfering in anybody's karmic journey. So it's nothing like that, okay? And remember something. You have created the prison in your mind. अगर आपको कोई प्रॉब्लम है, कोई दिक्कत है, तो you are living in the prison of your own making. और prison के अंदर जैसे होती है ना, the person is there, क्या कहते हैं, warden who has the चाबी. यहाँ पे तो the key is also with you. चाबी भी आप ही के पास है. We are only facilitating the process. That's all. We are saying, भाई लेट जाओ, आंखें बंद करो, so that you can go deeper in your mind. हम simple से, we are giving very simple suggestions. But the person is ready. The person's consciousness is ready to give that person the answer. That's all. And we should not give the answer, bas. As a facilitator and a mentor and a past life therapist, मैं हमेशा कहती हूँ अपने students को, you should not give any leading questions. ये आपको careful रहना है. आपको client को lead नहीं करना है. You ask open-ended questions. How, what, where. That's all. Not why. And let the client take the onus and responsibility of the session completely. So as a facilitator, आपको पता होना चाहिए आपको क्या पूछना है. Questioning skills आपकी perfect होनी चाहिए. The answer must come from the client. You are just asking a question which is open-ended. When this lady came and saw herself as a Christian, I did not say, please see yourself as a Christian. उसने खुद ही देखा अपने आप को. Correct? I just said, where are you? What are you doing? Where are you walking to? That's all I said. She said, I'm going to a forest and there's a cross there and we are sitting around the cross and praying. उसने कहा. That is why it changed for her. So as a facilitator, अगर आप सही मानों में सही questioning करते हैं, person should get answers.
That's a very good insight. In fact, that वो बंदा अभी ready है, मतलब there is always a starting and there is an end. So now that readiness is a indication that he's ready or she's ready to get this into the end and learn her lessons. Beautiful. There is this question, and then we will shift to this ancestral thing. I think every one of us may be having one or another past lives trauma or conflict, but it hasn't come on surface yet. Through PLR, can we address it, even if it is latent presently, probably helping the person maintain balance and live better for upcoming years? मतलब हाँ, so the question is that we all have had some of the other trauma in our past. So if it has not come on the surface through past life, can we address that? That's the question from the doctor.
If it has not come on the surface, that means your consciousness is not wanting you to experience it. It is possibly dormant just now because you are coping through a certain phase of life which you have to learn. And if this comes up, maybe it will disturb you. So let it come up. फिर जैसे आपके बॉडी के अंदर डिफिकल्टी है, सपोज देयर इज अ बैक्टीरिया और वायरस, but it's not giving you any fever, will you go to a doctor and say, please give me medicine? No, because there are no symptoms. Correct? तो symptom आएंगे तब आप treatment करेंगे ना. Without symptom, how will you start treating? It's not a good idea to do it because इसका मतलब है that your consciousness at this moment is not willing to show you that problem. It's like saying that, I'm meeting 4 or 5 boys. I want to see which one is going to be my husband. Maybe none of the 5 will be your husband then. That is what we call suggestibility. माने अब आपको ये 5 में से ही आपका mind उसी में रहेगा. You may make a wrong choice because there is no problem. So where there is no problem, will you put a band-aid जहाँ पे scar नहीं है? You won't put a band-aid, no? So you should not attempt past life therapy as a game. No, it's not a game, it's serious work. क्योंकि आप अपनी कॉन्शियसनेस के साथ काम कर रहे हो ना. ये कोई गेम नहीं, कोई टूर नहीं है. चलो मैं जाता हूँ. Which lifetime you will take me? Lifetime 14, 24, 2003. It's not like that. No. So don't do all this. It's not good. अच्छी बात नहीं है.
I hope that answers.
कई लोग करते हैं, but it's not good.
And then there
somebody was asking me, is there an age? ऐसा कुछ पूछ रहे थे कि is there an age limit for doing past life session? I have done past life sessions even on children at the age of 6 years, but हम अलग तरीके से करते हैं. It's done through artwork, creative writing, question answer. अलग तरीके से वो sessions होते हैं. But आप past life sessions कर सकते हैं किसी भी age में, even 6 साल के बच्चे के साथ आप कर सकते हैं. But the child must have a problem to do the session. Like this girl that had come to me, she had fear of rain. मतलब बारिश का उसको डर था. 6-7 साल की बच्ची थी वो, and she was a very good artist. She could paint and draw very beautifully. So I used that skill that the girl had to work with her fear. So it depends. See, आपकी skill set क्या है? As a therapist, you are a past life regression therapist, not enough. आपके पास और skill sets होने चाहिए. Because अगर नहीं है, तो 6 साल के बच्चे को आप कैसे करेंगे? You can't do it. So you can do. 6 साल के बच्चे को भी कर सकते हैं, 12 साल के बच्चे को भी कर सकते हैं, 15 साल के बच्चे को भी कर सकते हैं. But you have to know how to do it. That's all. The how matters.
yes, right. And
I want to say the oldest patient of mine was aged 86. So 86 years maybe past life session कर सकते.
In fact, I remember Dr. Newton used to say that his journey of exploring this started with doing it with his grandmother. Right. So yeah, so basically it's so much similar to how we deal, like, how we explore a case in homeopathy, children case, adult case. Every case is an individual possibility, and you have to just understand कि किस प्रकार से हम उसके unconscious में enter करें through the whatever that person is used to. And so that's a beautiful wisdom and insight. The next question is, there are times when people face lots of conflicts in current life. They are unable to grow even after putting efforts in their life. Though they cannot have any particular reason to point finger to. Will past life therapy help them too?
So
मतलब प्रॉब्लम्स है, कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स है, बट पिन पॉइंट नहीं कर पा रहे. सो And nothing, no efforts are helping. Of course, yes, of course.
Okay, so let me answer it a little differently. So as a psychologist, past life therapy is not the first line of treatment. ऐसे नहीं है कि कोई जो मेरे पास आएगा, I do past life therapy. It's not like that, okay? So because of my years of training, there are 6 steps to break away from any trauma, okay? So what is the first step? First step is when the patient begins to notice that there is some association of the past to the present action. Like the experiment of, the dog experiment of, let's say, Pavlov, where the dog made a connection between the saliva, bell, and food. So the first step for a patient who comes to you is to make the patient realize, or even you realize, that there is some connection between past and present. Correct? Second step kya hai? When we tell the client to begin to witness that this action repeats itself every time when the stimulus is present. Same stimulus, same response. Jaise ki whenever the father comes in front of the son feels fearful. So the second step is where you witness, oh, this is a repetitive thing. Third, when you make a decision to change the response to the stimulus, sometimes even not doing past life therapy and using other, let's say, cognitive based work that we do, we just facilitate the client to make a decision to change the response to the stimulus. That's all. So the son will say, I'm not going to be frightened any longer. So he's made a decision to change the response to the stimulus. Stimulus is not changed. Stimulus same hai. The father is the same, but the decision of the client has changed. Third. Fourth is when the person is facilitated to try different responses. So people say, I'll do meditation, I'll do yoga, I'll do pranic healing, Reiki, crystal healing. So fourth is when you try different ways to erase the response. We are still not doing past life therapy. We are still facilitating the client doing other different kind of modalities. Right? NLP bhi kar sakte hain. Fifth is when we use the process of reflection. When nothing works, suppose he's tried everything, nothing is working, then that boy or the patient becomes aware that this situation has happened so many times with different people, not only with the father. Boss ke saath bhi ho raha hai, dost ke saath bhi ho raha hai. So then there must be something deeper. And that is when the 6th step is taken to regress. Then the patient needs to go for regression. So it is not that the first line of treatment is past life therapy. Sometimes I have so many clients who come to see me, right? And I tell them that you don't need past life therapy. You need to do these kind of therapeutic modalities. So like I said, a therapist has to be equipped with other psychotherapeutic modalities so that the number of clients you see also changes, it increases, and the types of clients you see also changes, and you are also challenged that, okay, what do I use now? How do I help this client now? So, so this is what I like to say. It's not only about, and sometimes, problems get solved only by the person becoming mature. Is it 13 saal ka bachcha is angry? Parent calls me, ma'am, aap past life therapy kariye. I said, no, it's an age-related problem. 13 saal ka bachcha, 14 saal ka bachcha gussa kar raha hai, age-related problem hai. Within 2-3 years, the anger will go away. Then the parent needs counseling, not the child.
Yes.
So it's important for you not to use past life therapy as a tool or medicine for all problems. Aisa nahi karna.
Yes, yes. And that's how you integrate, like, so you are into so many things. And that was one of the questions, that how, but that really answers that yes, tabhi dawa do jab wo banda ready hai wo dawai lene ki, then it will really help. So now let us kind of investigate into this Pitru Dosha. So you've done research into this, and yeah, कितने अभी हमने वो like we have come out of this Shraddh and all the rituals that happens in so many places, Varanasi में, Kashi, like how is your approach? How do you really perceive this all? और ये सारे जो rituals होते हैं, और आपका perspective क्या है इस सब को लेके? And you are a founder of this ancestral spirit release, so I think it's related to that, right? So
actually I'm not a very religious person, तो मुझे कुछ पता नहीं है पितृदोष के ये सब kind of rituals के बारे में. I don't do any of these rituals, nor do I follow anything like that. So I'm the wrong person to answer that question. The religious whatever जो करते हैं, people go and they do the Shraddh bit. So, but I'm sure there are people who are doing it, which is fine. I have no problems with all that. For me, I look at it in a very kind of clinical manner and a spiritual manner. How does a person help? जैसे मैंने श्राद्ध कर लिया हर साल, ठीक है? Has it helped the ancestor? How do you know? You don't know. Correct? You are just doing it blindly because it is supposed to be done, like a ritual. So अगर आप कर्म कांड में बंद जाते हैं, so then there is no moksha, nor for you, nor for the ancestor, let me tell you. Because you are doing a ritualistic practice without understanding the science behind it. Correct? So when you don't understand the science behind ancestral work, then it is a ritual. That's all. आपको करना है, आप कर रहे हो, काशी गए, इधर गए, you are praying, and you feel that okay, the ancestor, but the ancestor has already moved on. You have not moved on. Problem यहाँ ये है कि you haven't moved on. The ancestor has already taken a new body. He's already somebody's father, mother, son, brother, sister, lover, who knows? Correct? So वो ancestor तो चला गया आगे. Why are you doing the Shraddh? Because it satisfies you. आपको अच्छा लगता है that I am praying for my father, my mother. But that father and mother have finished their roles. उनका role खत्म हो गया है. It's like in a three act play. The father died in the second act. He's not your father any longer, nor is she your mother any longer. है ही नहीं, रोल ही नहीं है उनका, पर आप कह रहे कि नहीं भाई उनको आप प्रे कर रहे हो. So it is not a rational approach, not a rational logical approach नहीं है. There could be many reasons why people are doing this. I don't want to get into that, okay? But for me, I believe that I'm holding on to the memory of those who have gone away. They have gone, but I'm holding their memory, not them. So when I hold that memory, if it is not a great memory, I will have to do work on myself, right? People will say, I had a bad relationship with my parents, my mother, my father. Please, ma'am, I have to do inner child work. Right? Because you are holding that memory. तो आपको श्राद्ध करना पड़ेगा खुद का, because you have to let go of that memory. Correct? So the thing is, if you understand ancestral science of ancestors, the ancestral science, Pitru Dosha को अगर समझते हैं, तो you will have to first create a family tree. Okay, genogram जिसको हम बोलते हैं, ठीक है? Now, I've studied lots and lots, hundreds of actually genograms before I started the ancestral spirit release work, the ASRT, I call it. So when I studied these genograms of families from both sides, I realized that families come together because they are in some way actually resonating at that deeper level, at the ancestral level. Now, this person who is having the problem, let us say, you come to see me, you are having a problem of, let's say, kind of fertility, not able to conceive. Okay? Now I tell you, prepare the genogram of your husband side and your side. मैंने आपके father, grandfather, ये वो husband के side के. Now it is very interesting when you see the two families की family trees. You will realize both sides there is some problem in fertility. Either they have been a number of abortions, miscarriages, children who have been adopted, early death of small children. You will see some pattern. Okay. Now, when you study this pattern, is when you understand why this person is suffering. It is possible that she is one of the ancestors from either side who has either suffered or done something karmically inappropriate for her to carry the suffering to this body now. So I'm saying you could have been your own ancestor. Now, when you do the ancestral spirit release work, what are you releasing? Are you releasing that spirit who was born in 1848? No. You are releasing the energy of that spirit who was born in 1848. The same soul was born in 1848 and had some problems. And that same spirit is now in this body and having the problems. So it is as if that spirit is on my back, shadowing me. So I'm not calling it spirit attachment. Please, wo nahi main bol rahi, main keh rahi hu. The spirit, your own spirit, soul to soul hai. It occupied body in 1848. It's occupying the body now in 2020. Correct? So it is carrying that karma with it now. So what the spirit work, the ancestral spirit work does is, it releases that energy that is causing the problem in this physical body now. And as it gets released, the story of that 1848 will also emerge. Correct? Because that has to emerge to be released, no? So this is how the ancestral spirit release work is done. We've had some fascinating and miraculous recoveries of people. And I can only say that God is doing this amazing work through my mind and my body and my voice. I really don't know how it came to me. Again, it happened to me in my dream. At 4:30 or something, that it just came to me. And morning, I wrote it all down. And I said, okay, let me do a workshop on this. And I don't even remember now how everything transpired. And we did this workshop, the first workshop in Delhi this year. I'll do one next year now, sometime in Pune, let's see. But I teach this now in my training program, which I do with my students at Rishikesh, to the advanced students who've already done PLR for a couple of years. And it's really got some fascinating results, actually.
Like,
so it's really nothing, Urvi. It's just an offshoot of actually constellation.
Family
work.
constellation. Yes, yes,
So
that's what exactly.
It's a family constellation, but I have made some changes in family constellation work to include the spirit element inside the constellation.
Right. Very interesting, very interesting. And when you say that you've been kind of getting fabulous results, can you just kind of tell what kind of, just brief, like isme, yeah.
So one very interesting session in Delhi, we had about 22 people in the workshop, and one man had come from Jaipur, not Jaipur ke kahin par rehte hain, naam bhul gayi, Bharatpur se wo aaya tha ladka. And he said that he lives in a palatial home, and he said कि attic में he can hear a sound. जब वो pray करता है, तो there is a sound of like footsteps running, and many people have heard the sound in his house, but only when he prays. जब वो pray करते हैं, तो footsteps जैसे attic में भाग रहे हैं, and there is the sound of bells, like वैसा कुछ आवाज आती है. and he suspects that there is some spirit. I said, okay. So now this was the information that he gave. So what we did was, because it's an ancestral spirit workshop, I told him to select 7 people which will represent the ancestors of his own ancestors. Then I asked him a question. I said, ये land आपने कहाँ से लिया है? ये जहाँ से आपने घर बांधा है, ये किसका land है? So he said there is some royal family जो इनके neighbors हैं. ये royal family का land था, and then this land was gifted to his grandfather or great grandfather, and that's how they live here. So then I thought it is possible that this land was of the royal family. तो हो सकता है कि हमें इनके ancestors के बारे में जानना चाहिए, rather than the client who has come. So I told him, select 7 ancestors of this royal family. The 7 लोगों को लिया गया, and I made them stand one after the other. ठीक है? तो 7 ancestral या जो भी lineage थी. Now he doesn't have much information about this royal family. Okay. Then I said, now let us select this spirit that seems to be running in the attic. So we selected one girl who played the role of the spirit. And I just told her that you have to just circle around the ancestors and stand wherever you think you have to stand. Okay. So she moved around. And then after about few seconds or maybe 2-3 minutes, she stood near the 3rd ancestor. The rest of them, I told them to go. Okay. Now the story unfolded. And interestingly, he called up whoever, his sister or whoever it is, and confirmed the story. कि क्या हुआ था. And the story was that this ancestor, ये आदमी जो था, the 3rd father के grandfather के great grandfather, उसकी एक wife थी who was thrown out of the house because she could not conceive, and the body was thrown in the land जहाँ पे इनका घर है, and it was never buried or मतलब proper death rituals नहीं हुए थे उसके, and the body must have rotted and finished there. So this was the whole story that came up, and then it was told to him that he has to एक मंदिर बनाना है छोटा सा with the murti, and actually she could tell him what kind of murti they have to make, and the red sari that the murti has to wear. छोटी this gave this man, and post that the footsteps have. So it means, yeah, so post that the footsteps have stopped and the bells and all that has stopped. So it means that this girl who was channeling was actually that person. And that is what I said, that you are carrying the ancestor like a shadow. So we had this amazing breakthrough. We have a lot of videos also, which we have shot for some amazing sessions that we've had. And we always tend to get some kind of validation. ये बहुत important होता है इन सब कामों में.
Right. And it's such a wonderful work, this constellation, and the way entire energy just brings out the issue, underlying issue, which is so much in unconscious. And I guess उसके लिए एक बहुत ही अलग से एक session लगेगा, because again it's an entire deep work which requires and demands. So thank you so much for bringing this perspective that has come to you, to this thing, you know, that कुछ समझने के बगैर, कुछ समझने के बाद उसको वो हिसाब से ठीक किया जाए, तो it makes you can relate to it. As this generation, we can relate to things, and then yes, definitely there are issues that kind of being carried. Epigenetic genetic study आजकल वो prove भी कर रही है कि yes, वो issue हम carry करते हैं, but there is a way to release those issues.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
and this is what this therapy is all about. So thank you, Ma. I guess we are almost like,
Thank you.
yeah, but एक question है जो हम ले लेंगे, and then we can just call it a day.
No problem.
एक question ये है कि how come some people go into the regression and how come some not? What is the reason behind it? And then the next step would be how to deal with that.
Well, some people, yeah, so some people go into the regression easily because they're extremely suggestible people. Mane, ek to they are very suggestible, they could be highly visual as people. And so it's very easy for them to get into the state and, they can do the past life session very easily. Some people are a little kind of resistive hote hain because they want suggestions in a certain way, or they think a lot, or they're very restless. So you will have to change the way you are suggesting to the client. Like I'll give you an example. I had this man who came to see me, काफी साल पहले, is now a friend of mine. So he came and he said, मैं पहले भी गया हूँ किसी के पास, and I just started laughing. So I don't know, आप session करेंगे कि नहीं मेरे साथ? मैंने कहा कोई बात नहीं, देखते हैं. So I told him to lie down and I said, close your eyes, and he started laughing and he thought it was very funny. So वो हंसने लगा, I said, oh, what is this nonsense, and this, that, he was laughing and all that. So I let him do that for 1 or 2 minutes. I let him laugh. I kept speaking and I let him laugh. And after 2-3 minutes, I just told him, what are you hiding behind the laughter? And he stopped laughing.
Wow.
So you have to know when to catch the client. Correct? So it is tricky at times. Like I'll give you another example. There was an army officer who came to see me. The problem he has is basically insomnia. He cannot sleep in the night. He sleeps for 2 hours and then wakes up, then 2 hours and then wakes up. So I asked him that as an army, he had just retired. So I said, as an army officer, have you been involved in wars? Like, on the front? He said, yes. So I said, obviously, Mata, you cannot sleep. Aap so nahi sakte. So you have got used to this sleeping pattern of yours, Then he said, I don't think, I can be a very good subject. I don't think I can regress karunga and all that. So I said, sir, as an army officer, have you ever had the chance to say no? So he said, no, I have never had the chance to say no. I've always had to say yes. So I said, that's good. So I said, as an army officer, when I asked him a number of questions, where he continued to say yes. It's called the yes response. In hypnosis, hum iska istemal karte hain. So I kept asking him questions about, and he kept saying yes. I said, so have you fought at the war side? He said, yes. I said, you had to stay awake for maybe 4 or 5 hours, like 6 hours, 8 hours at a stretch. He said, yes. I said, there has always been a time when you had to say what to your bosses? He said, always yes. So he kept saying yes, yes, yes. And then when I told him, do you think you can actually do this session easily? He said, yes. I said, there you are. Now, please lie down on the bed. So you have to be very smart and quick with such clients. So there is no client that cannot regress, let me tell you. Because if the client has come to you, the intent is he wants to regress. अब ये आपके स्किल पे है कि आप क्या करेंगे, किस तरह से उसे रिग्रेस करेंगे. There are many cases like that where I do things which are quick, conversational. Actually, hypnosis bhi hota hai, where you're conversing with the client and the client goes into a state of hypnosis. So I had this client who told me कि जब बचपन से जब भी मैं स्ट्रेस में होता हूँ, I draw domes. मैं domes draw करता हूँ. So I said, are you under stress at this moment before we do the session? He said, yes. I said, great. Now please draw some domes. So he started drawing domes and he just got into trance. So आपको तभी मैं कहती हूँ ना, थोड़ा एक्सपीरियंस, थोड़ा स्किल सेट, जैसे उर्वी ने कहा बाल को सफेद करना जरूरी है, तब जाके शायद आपको विजडम आ सकती है. Jokes apart, but it is you have to be smart.
No, so in homeopathy also, Ma, we say that there are some people who open up with just a key, and then somebody would require a push, and somebody will require that da, 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 this rod. So it depends upon person to person, one, and also the skill of a therapist. But yes, there is a possibility to enter the unconscious, but it is so individual, and not just for the person, but for the facilitator as well.
Absolutely. Yes.
Thank you so much, Ma, for this beautiful session and beautiful insights. And there are very good takeaways that we have from you today. One is that not everybody, we should just jump into PLR. We have to really see what exactly is the situation. It's not a game. It's not a child work. It is a serious business. And there is definitely a reason to, objective to why we are doing that for the person. So it's important. And so all the cases that we can help with PLR, and what all cases where other therapies can also be combined and integrated, and how skill is such an important thing that is required, and experience and a lot of practice in sadhana. So thank you so much for this insights, and thank you so much for letting us know about your perspective about this ancestral spirit release therapy, which can help us to see this Pitru Dosha and the healing of Pitru Dosha in a very different way in our generation, a scientific approach to that. And thank you everybody for being such a wonderful audience and asking your questions and being with us even at this hour. And we are late already by half an hour, but thank you so much for being here with us. And I have posted, I put it in the chat about if we want to connect with Dr. Trupti, how we can through her social media handles and her website. And she is also a mentor, and she teaches this therapy. And in December, she is going to hold a session or therapy training session for the freshers for past life regression in Rishikesh. So the details of whom to connect is also being put there, and that's about it. I'm so grateful to all of you to be a part of this episode second, and my entire objective with this episodes is, one, to respect to my own synchronic experiences that I'm receiving, and just to bring that forth in front, that yes, we are all guided by that inner voice, that inner guidance. Only that we have to pay attention to it, and then we have to execute it with the courage, and bring in all these beautiful experts who are doing beautiful work by first working on themselves and then helping so many others to transform their lives and rise in their own spiritual path, in their soul journey, for which we are very much here on this physical plane, this earthly realm. So that is the objective behind this episodes. And I continue to do this meditation. In my meditation, first name had come Haritaji, and we did that episode. Second name was Trupti Mas, and so we are today. And now third will happen at the right time and the right time. Until then, have a nice journey. Wishing you happy Diwali in advance, happy festivity, and happy full moon today. Let's meditate today. It's a beautiful moon out in the sky with beautiful energy. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Urvi.
Thank you, Ma. Bye.
Thank you.